Hello, I'm Jenny Nobley from Glendora, California, and owner of Pollard Sew Creative. As a proud partner of Synchronies, we're encouraging others from the sewing community to help in this time of need. So today, I'm gonna show you how to make this easy mask using materials from my shop. You may find it difficult to find available materials, but that's okay, because I'm gonna give you some alternative options as well. So let's get started. First, I would suggest washing your fabric because it is 100% cotton and you don't want any shrinkage if any of these masks do decide to become rewashable. The PDF for the pattern will be a download. When you do print it out, please make sure that you're printing at 100% or actual size. So you're going to have a part A and you're going to have a part B. Part A will be the front part of your mask and part B will be the inside or the lining of the mask. They are two different sizes, so be aware of that. What you want to do is put wrong sides together because you're going to want a right and a left side of the mask. I would also recommend lining your fabric with a non-woven interfacing. It is a lighter weight, but it is going to make it more pliable and it's more paper-like. So once you cut both pieces, you'll have 4 sections. The next part is we're going to fold down 1/4 inch from the top of all 4 of your pieces. And that's going to finish the sides and have a finished seam. Now I'm actually using flannel for my lining piece, and flannel works great, 100% cotton or flannel. We're going to start by doing 1/4 inch from the top on all 4 of your pieces. So I'm just going to press this. And once we press each of our 4 pieces, we're going to just top stitch. I'm going to be just using a straight stitch and a zigzag. I'm going to use my regular foot and I'm going to move my needle position over to 1/4 inch because 1/4 inch seams are going to work the best. And you don't want to forget to back stitch so your seams don't come out. Pieces. And our next step, we're going to put right sides together. Now you want to sew the curve. Now again, this is the side of your mask, and this is going to be the front right and left side of your mask. So we're going to sew down the curve on both. Put these together and line it up. Again, you want to use your 1/4 inch, so we're just going to do a 1/4 inch seam. And the same for the front of your mask. Coming along pretty fast. These don't take very long to make, which is a good thing. Once you're done with that, I would recommend you put a few slits down the curve. It's going to make it a lot easier for you. Right here. Okay, now we're going to open up both of our seams and put right sides together. Now, you may look at this and say, why do we have 2 different sizes? And that's meant to be that way because that will be our casing for the side. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to clip that and put one seam on one side, one on the other, and just line that up. I'm not using pins for this today, but if you do, please do not sew over your pins. Lock in your seam. You don't want that coming out. And we're gonna do on the other side. We're almost done here. Okay, next we need to sew the bottom part of your mask, and you're going to do the same thing. Line up your seams, line that up, make sure that the bottom is even, and lock in your stitch, and sew the bottom. Perfect. What's nice about this mask pattern is that it does have wire stability across the bridge of the nose. It can be molded and fit tighter. So we're going to use some jewelry wire, depending on what you have available to you. And this is about 3.5 to 4 inches. And then I just turn the front down a little bit so it doesn't poke out. Now, if you don't have jewelry wire, you might have floral wire. I know a lot of you are crafters, so that's always available as well. You can also use ties. Many of us have access to paper clips. So we have paper clips, and this would be the small size. So small size paper clips work really well. And that's what this one is here. Just an opened up paper clip and then just turn in the side. So it works really well. I'm gonna use the jewelry wire today that I have. Now, the other thing, if you don't have access to any of those, you can also use pie tin. So if you have these throwaway tins from the supermarket, you don't want to use the sides. I used an old rotary cutter blade, or you can use paper scissors. Do not use your good sewing scissors. You will dull the tar out of those. You want to cut like a 3" by 1/2 inch strip. And what I did here is you're going to just turn the one side up and fold in, and the other side as well. Now, if again you find that it's too tiny for you to fold, you can always go 1 inch and then you can sew over it. You will dull the needle before you wreck your machine. You also want to turn the ends in on this as well, because you don't want those sharp edges popping out. But anything goes. And if you don't have access to any of this, it's okay too. What we're going to do is we're going to take our wire. I'm just going to find the middle point, and I'm going to put it to the front of my, just going to put it on here. And what we want to do is we want to wide enough zigzags, and it should go into the seam here. And when you couch it down, if it's wide enough, you shouldn't break a needle. And this is set at about 4 millimeters apart. Let's just pull that. You don't have to go speedy on this. And I'm going to turn. All right, so now that we have that, that's just kind of couched down there. You're going to turn your mask right side out. And now what you'll notice is that the ends are longer. We're gonna pop this wire to the the front here, to the very top. And then you can press these seams if you want to press the seams. With the casing, it's going to allow whatever you put in there, elastic or ties. It does give a better fitting mask. And we're gonna just turn this in now. Where that meets your lining, you're gonna turn that over. It allows for a pocket. If they decide to add a filter, you can add a filter to it. Okay. That's gonna form a really nice casing. Now, what we're gonna do next is just kind of stitch that casing down. I'm going to stitch it from the other side here. Going back to my straight stitch, I'm just gonna move my needle position to the other side to get as close to that 1/4 inch on the other side so that I don't have a bunch of different stitching lines. Line up with the edge of the foot is the easiest way. The most important thing on this though is to back stitch so that casing doesn't come out. So don't forget to do that. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Once you have both of those casings done, we just have to now figure out how we're going to attach it. 1/4 inch elastic has been difficult to get for many of you. So what we'll do is we have some alternative options. If you have corded elastic, I use corded elastic in this one here. Now you're not going to sew it. You can't sew corded elastic. So I cut this about 10 inches or so and tied a knot. That's a really tight knot. And using elastic, it's harder to size for the various faces. So I did tie the knot and then I pushed it back into the casing so you couldn't see it. You might want to leave a little extra so that if it needs to be adjusted, it can. But corded elastic, hair elastics work. If you have bias tape. So this mask here was made with bias tape and it works really well. I found this great trim in my shop, so that's what I'm going to use today because I think it will work really well. So if you have ribbon or any sort of trims, that all works. So if you have a bodkin or a loop turner, it makes it real easy to put through the casing. If you don't have that, you can always use a safety pin. I'm gonna start by putting it on the right side here and push it through. There we go. I cut this at about 44 inches. I wanted enough to be able to go around the head and enough to tie. So then that is one side, and then I'm going to do the other side. Real easy. And then I recommend tying the ends. Tying the ends here will keep the ends from popping through and from unraveling. We finished our mask. Very easy, great mask, and believe me, people will appreciate it. So let's see how this works. I'll show you. It goes like this. And we just tie it to the back. And what's nice is that we have this wire here to mold to my nose. The sides are tight and it's fitted. Let me show the other one. Goes around the ears, molded. There, we've completed our project. Now, wasn't that easy? Let's show everyone the passion of sewing and why it's so important to do this. Get your children, get families, it's our obligation as sewers to show them how important it is. And we can use our stash. We can finally use the stuff we've been waiting to use. And then after all this is done, we'll get out and boost the economy and buy more stash. So let's do it. Let's just sew. And remember, we're all in this together.